Hello everyone. Welcome to the fourth week in our work together in the Deepening Our Practice with Oracle Cards workshop. I have some sage and a beeswax candle lit for us, and I just want to fill this space and offer you any clearing, any releasing that you come to this video needing. And ask a vulture to assist in this clearing work. So, let's just put our hands on our hearts and go ahead and close our eyes. And just reach out energetically and feel that connection with the others taking this workshop. Feel your connection to Source, to Great Spirit. And feel and explore the grounding energy of tree in this moment. What it feels like to have your feet as roots planted firmly in the earth. And what it feels to be open to receiving and allowing energy to flow between you and Great Spirit. So just take a moment there and feel that tree energy. And what type of tree would you be today? It's very early in the morning here, the day that I'm recording this video, and I have been blessed to have some time to myself, so it's very quiet. And I think if I were a tree today, I would be a willow tree. So just let yourself be with that exercise and let it be something playful and fun and not anything you need to research or figure out. Just be with that. This week, very clearly, Wolf has decided to come forward and walk with us as the theme for our week. The card that we are working with this week as our theme is card 2, Heart of Fire. Wolf has, again, been circling since the idea of this workshop came through, and it's been a blessing for me personally working with Wolf. His energy is one that I didn't think would come to work with me, and so it's been very healing knowing that he is there and that his protective energy is working with those of us in this workshop. And that's really a lot of what we're exploring this week with Heart of Fire, is the power and the strength and the protection that comes from living with our hearts wide open in this space that can seem, and we at times can step into a fear space with this idea of living vulnerably, living with our hearts wide open. And yet the only way that we are really able to be alive in this body is when we are able to be open and grounded in our vulnerability, safe in our vulnerability, when we've released the holds of fear and desire and the need to be protected from ourselves. So it's no surprise that Wolf has come forward with Heart of Fire this week for us as we are nearing the end of this journey together. You know, we're getting close to that point in time where we will release the safety net of the workshop and then go forward and you know, be changed in the way that we interact with the world, in whatever way that change has come for us. And for each of us, that will be a unique expression of change. And I say change because you have invested in yourself over the last 5 weeks. By the time the workshop ends, it will be 5 weeks. You have gotten to know yourself and offered yourself love and understanding. And this week we are exploring living with our hearts wide open. And the beauty of Wolf is that we can live with our hearts wide open and be vulnerable, and yet also set healthy boundaries. And this might seem like, well, they cannot exist together. This is something that I struggle with a lot personally on my journey, is how can I live with my heart wide open and still set boundaries? So Wolf comes in to let us know that we can do both. It is possible, and it is very healthy for us to do both. It's a path of balance when we are wide open and very clear about our boundaries. So last week with Breaking Free, we were really exploring, like, ripping away the false selves and ripping away a way of being that no longer feels authentic, and saying yes and saying no to the things that our heart urges us to say yes and no to, instead of going along with what others would like us to do, or what society as a whole would like us to do. This week we're looking at living authentically, continuing to say yes and no when we feel called to what we feel called to, but also to being clear about when something is not okay, that we don't need to engage in that experience any longer. So we've also explored with Breaking Free the power of the creation aspect in our experience. So with Wolf, we kind of explore it even deeper this week, because we are saying, this experience isn't feeling good for me anymore inside. My heart is not opening to this experience, and so this is something that I don't have to take part in any longer. Or if someone is pushing us in a way that no longer feels good or helpful or beneficial on our path, it is all right for us to say no to that experience of being pushed in that way. So it's an intensifying of the energy we started really stepping into with Breaking Free. And at the same time, it's an intensifying of the energy of letting go and trusting and being connected to our divine self, our source perspective at all times. So feeling that we always have that connection. So what I'd like you to do now, as you're sitting here with me in sacred space, is to just feel in your body, just settle in. Bring awareness to the breath. And pay attention to what it feels like when you consciously make a choice to open your heart. So say out loud, I'm opening my heart to this experience. Now bring awareness energetically to what that area feels like in your body when you open. This is one of the most powerful ways when I'm shutting down that I can step into opening to an experience. So bring your awareness back to this feeling of, I'm open to this experience. With the understanding for your ego self, which again, I really want to reiterate, and I do this in many videos, we don't judge the ego self. We're not trying to rid ourselves of ego. We honor the ego self. In the human experience, the ego self serves a purpose, right? And so we can honor for our ego self, I am opening to this experience and setting healthy boundaries in doing so. So that our ego self can understand and can feel that through the opening there is not danger, but through the opening there's a clearer understanding of our boundaries and what is okay and not okay for us. So come back to this experience of what it feels like at heart center to open there. And then bring your awareness one chakra lower to solar plexus. How does it feel in that center of being to have your heart chakra open? Don't judge whatever feelings come up in this exercise. It's going to feel different each time. It's going to have a unique feeling each time. But bring that consciousness into opening your heart to this experience. Not shutting down energetically, but opening up energetically. There will be a shift when you are able to be open in your way of being and how people interact with you. So don't be surprised if part of this heart of fire energy this week involves some people being uncomfortable around you. And this can especially be with people who are family members or people you work with, people that really have a vested interest in you staying in a space that they feel comfortable with. You know, like if at work you're always that person that everyone can depend on to get it done, even when it's not your responsibility. And all of a sudden you come in this week to work and you're saying, my heart is open to this experience. You know, it doesn't feel good for me to take on this person's job responsibility this week. I just want to be where I am because I'm open and it feels good right now. You see, there's a shift in how others are going to interact with you when you're not taking on responsibilities that don't feel good any longer. So don't be surprised if that happens. You know, it might not, but it probably will. And so when it does, you know, come back to Wolf. Allow yourself to feel within your boundaries protected. And I don't mean protected in a way that there's danger. I mean protected in a way that we are always held lovingly by the divine. And the more that we honor our true self and we honor our truths, our experience, we are naturally protected. And so Wolf is protecting this week you as you are setting those healthy boundaries while being open to the lessons, to the love, to the joy in each and every experience. In a moment, I will read for you Sandra's channeling of the guidebook meaning for this card. And part of that, part of this theme, part of what Sandra talks about in the guidebook is part of this setting healthy boundaries and living with our heart open is taking a look at areas in our life where we keep repeating a situation over and over again. Or, you know, we respond to something the same way over and over again. And you are encouraged this week when you come up against these areas of your life where you can see clearly that you're stepping into a pattern and a habitual way of response to something. It's just not working anymore. Wolf and Heart of Fire are calling us to, and Sandra through her work is calling us to, instead of repeat the pattern again, which means we're going to have to repeat the pattern again, right, in this life or another life, take a nice exhale and open up to the lesson and the experience. Open up to the love and the experience. Find the sweet within the sting. So, you know, and then there's Be Magic coming in too. So, this is something important for us to look at as well this week, and there will be journaling questions about that will encourage you to dive into those lessons and how you can stop repeating the lessons that you're ready to release, right? So, I'm going to show you the image from Heart of Fire one more time. It's going to be a beautiful card to meditate with this week. I am profoundly grateful that this card came forward for our fourth week working together. All right, let's see. So let me read to you Sandra's channeling of Heart of Fire. A heart of fire is a heart that is open in any situation. We can experience the passion and fire within us if our heart is fully engaged and ready to experience something new. Living with our hearts open requires trust in the universe because it can feel vulnerable. We are stepping into an unknowable place which is unfamiliar to us. It is, in truth, a portal to the unlimited universe and the goodness that is inherently ours. So it is truly the safest and most supportive place we can be. It is also the key to personal growth, evolution, and the deep connection to ourselves and others, as the wisdom and unconditional love of our higher selves is accessible through this divine portal. We can have our heart open and have loving boundaries firmly in place. Just like the wolf, you can be strong and vulnerable at the same time. This allows us to clearly discern when a situation is not in alignment with our higher selves and to lovingly place boundaries around a situation. The universe will continue to give you the same learning experiences until you open your heart to it and allow yourself to feel vulnerable. In doing this, you are creating fertile ground for miracles. So, very, very powerful magic that we are working with this week. Very powerful energy that we're working with this week. And the beauty of it is that the power is through the vulnerability. So it's through the releasing of the safety nets, guys. So explore where you can release those in your life and where you can trust and be open to the universe and to your own being as a divine being as well as a human being. There was a quote from, there's actually two quotes I want to read to you. Let's see, from Joseph Campbell that I had written down. And I just want to find, yes. So, and this is part of exploring and opening up to that divine self. And if this is a concept or a belief or an idea that you have difficulty opening up to, that you hold within you, the divine, you hold within you that which you seek. Explore this quote by Joseph Campbell and sit with this energy this week of finding the divine within ourselves through Wolf and through the Heart of Fire. So are we both mortal and immortal. Our mortality and our immortality are one. So just as our strength now comes from our vulnerability, we are also immortal and mortal in one being. So that duality, it's bringing that duality in. And there is, let's see, there was one other quote, but you know what, I'm not finding it, so, oh, here it is. So here's the other quote from Joseph Campbell that I'd like to share with you in regards to Heart of Fire as well. Find the fire within yourself. So we're exploring this openness and vulnerability, and through that we are finding our passion as well. So we are exploring the element of fire with Wolf this week. And that might be something that you hadn't thought of exploring with Wolf, this element of fire. So give yourself some time to sit with that element of fire and how fire marries with the spirit animal energy of Wolf. So this week, let's talk about what we're doing this week. It's a week of really, bringing it out. It's bringing this into our daily life. So just as with last week, we started bringing this inner work into the outer realm, even more so this week. So we're going to, as usual, continue our daily draws. This can be a single card. It can be whatever you'd like it to be. And please journal each day about your daily draw. Consult the guidebook if you feel called to, but let your primary understanding and work with the card come from your intuition. You've been working with this deck a lot over the last few weeks, so you have a relationship with this deck now, and listening to those messages is important, and honoring those messages, because the spirit animal that's coming forward will also have a unique message for you in each day, in each moment as you're walking your path, as well as the general theme of the card that Sandra's channeled for us. So you're going to continue to do that every day. At the beginning of this week, I would love for you to sit and take a path working, a meditation with Heart of Fire. This means on your own, not guided by anyone else, stepping into this card image and exploring the messages, the symbols, the understandings that come to you from stepping into this image and working with Wolf intimately. Midway through the week, as usual, I will upload your weekly spread video. We're working with the same spread every week, but I do a small video for you just kind of talking about how you can look at the spread in regards to your weekly theme. So it will be the same 3-card spread, and that you only need to do once this week, but I do upload that video about midway through the week. At the end of the week, between Friday and Saturday, I will upload the guided meditation for you, and this is something for you to take a journey with the card and my energy as the facilitator of the workshop as well. So you'll be journeying with Wolf and with me and Alice probably this week. I'm not sure. We'll see who's coming forward. They're quite shamanic meditations for this workshop, which I really wasn't expecting, and I am very grateful that they've been able to be that. So if that meditation doesn't feel good for you, then please do another solitary meditation, all right? Now, your additional homework this week is to explore your fire within. That is something that I'm going to ask you to find the way and the how and the why of that yourself. But that is part of your homework this week. Explore your passion. What are you passionate about? What does that look like? How can you open to it more? And then that is balanced with setting boundaries. So this week, in regards to anything, you can apply this to whatever you want. It can look really big. It can be something that seems insignificant but is world-shifting for you. And you'll find when you step into this that it will be world-shifting. I'd like you to set a boundary this week. So when something feels that it is not in alignment with your heart, with your highest self, with your being, I would like you to set a boundary. And that can be as simple as saying, you know what, chocolate ice cream doesn't feel good anymore. I don't want chocolate ice cream. Like a cookie instead. You know what I mean? It could be as small as that and as big as leaving a job if something isn't feeling good there. So you're going to set a boundary this week. And this is something that's optional, but I really want to encourage you to do it if you can. It's not going to take you long, but it's going to be something that helps you to really explore that fire and that wolf energy. So what I would like you to do is to put some music on that you really love and to sing as loud and as vibrantly and as powerfully as you can to that song. And you can do that for however many times you like, whenever you want during the week. Let it be a roar, a howl, a powerful, powerful rising up from the fire of the belly through your throat chakra. And explore what that's like to be as loud and as powerful as that sound can be. And don't worry about how it sounds, because you're not recording this. It's not anything anybody else needs to hear. This is for you. So that's your other piece of homework this week. And I am about to read you your journaling questions for the week as well. So I know it's a lot to bite off this week, but you're bringing the awareness to each moment with Wolf and Heart of Fire. And so I think you'll find that there are ways you can work these homework aspects into your schedule beautifully. So here are your journaling questions. The guidebook connection. So I have 2 questions for you this week in relation to the guidebook connection. Is my heart open? So that's your first question. Is my heart open? Do I really believe I can have my heart open and have loving boundaries firmly in place? That's your second question. Do I really believe I can have my heart open and have loving boundaries firmly in place? The next question is, where am I repeating the same experiences over and over in my life? So where am I repeating the same experiences over and over in my life? Next question. How can I open my heart to this lesson and be vulnerable? How can I open my heart to this lesson or lessons if you're feeling there are multiple ways that you're repeating things, and be vulnerable? Your next question. This can also be considered a guidebook connection question. Do I believe I am worth a miracle? Be honest here. Do I believe I am worth a miracle? How can I open to believing and accepting my own worth and value? Now, you might be feeling like, oh my God, didn't we do this in week 2, Racine? We're always coming back to this because there are ways that we can always explore this in every incarnation of the self through this life. How can I open to believing and accepting my own worth and value? And that is why that question's there, guys. What messages does Wolf have for me? What messages does Wolf have for me? And your final question, I know it's a lot of questions this week, guys. What is my heart open and passionate about right now? Final question, how can I explore it? How can I explore it? So, this energy is fearless and bold and vulnerable and open this week. And I want you to honor yourself and give yourself credit for the amazing being that you are throughout this week as well. So I'd like you to stop and check in with that throughout the week, especially when it feels heavy or scary or hard or difficult or uncomfortable or lonely. Sit with how amazing you are and how beautiful your journey is because you have opened up to this expansion of yourself, of your being, of your way of being. So, there's no apologies this week. No apologies this week. So let's just end our time together by putting our hands on our heart. Nice exhale. Releasing on the out-breath. You are always supported, my dear one. You are never alone. You are always guided on your journey. The messages come through clearly. May Wolf walk with you powerfully, beautifully, lovingly this week. Many blessings.